For more than 7 months, one of the greatest feats of human engineering had vanished into the silence of the cosmos. Voyager 2, launched in 1977, and responsible for decades of valuable transmissions from the outer reaches of the solar system, had ceased to respond. Alone in interstellar space, it had drifted forgotten, a technological ghost adrift in the pitch black. NASA feared its mission had come to an end, a silent farewell after nearly half a century of service. But then, against all expectations, something amazing happened. A signal came back. And it wasn't just an echo of a working signal. It was a transmission, a message. The unexpected and still enigmatic content left scientists intrigued. Could it have been just a technical anomaly? Or has Voyager 2 finally come across what has long been suspected to exist in the depths of space? Stay with us, because what Voyager 2 just sent back may confirm the darkest fear of modern space exploration, that we were never truly alone. Voyager 2 launched on August 20th, 1977, part of a mission so ambitious it bordered on insanity. A spacecraft with less memory than a modern watch, powered by less than 23 watts of radio power, built not to return, but to fly forever. It was sent to explore the gas giants, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, and then continue on into the unknown. What it achieved defied all expectations. It captured Earth-sized storms, rings we never knew existed, and icy moons with active geysers. It revealed dynamic atmospheres and mysterious magnetic fields on worlds that had previously been just dots in the sky. But Voyager 2 wasn't just sending back images. It was changing the way we see the universe. After its grand tour, the probe moved on, breaking through the heliosphere and entering interstellar space in 2018. This boundary, the heliopause, was thought to be the limit of the sun's influence. Voyager 2 revealed that it was not a wall, but a membrane, a shifting, writhing edge full of turbulence, radiation, and unseen forces seeping into the darkness beyond. And as it crossed that threshold, the rules began to change. For decades, Voyager 2 whispered home, sending fragile signals, each a miracle of resilience, cutting through billions of miles of emptiness. But in March 2020, NASA's Deep Space Network lost contact. At first, it was explained as a routine operation, maintenance on the 70-meter antenna at Goldstone. But when contact was not re-established, a deeper fear emerged. Maybe Voyager had died. Maybe the darkness had finally swallowed it. Then, in October 2020, something unthinkable happened. The engineers sent a command to Voyager 2, and it responded. Perfectly. As if nothing had happened. Not just a ping, but a full transmission. The spacecraft had executed the command, updated its navigation, and adjusted its orientation, without error. After nearly half a year of drifting in interstellar silence, it was suddenly responsive, precise, alive. But that wasn't the strange part. The strange part was what came next. A sequence of telemetry that, according to internal records, Voyager should never have been able to generate. Legacy systems had been activated. Data came from instruments long thought to be inactive. Subsystems that had not been accessed since the 1980s were once again reporting status. It was as if something had awakened the ship. Or someone. The engineers were stunned. The data stream wasn't just old, it was stratified. Signals encoded. At frequencies Voyager hadn't used in decades seemed to contain patterns. Repetitions, echo pulses, binary signatures never before cataloged. NASA's initial explanation was a system loop caused by radiation interference. But independent experts noticed something else. Embedded in the signal were fragments of Voyager's own code, but in recursive form. Self-referential instructions. Like a digital mirror. Voyager wasn't just sending data. It was transmitting itself. Some believed it was a survival reflex. A final attempt to preserve its identity before the final shutdown. Others suggested something more frightening. That Voyager had encountered an outside force. One that accessed your memory, read your systems, and reflected them back in altered form. Like an echo, or a response. If this is true, then the message didn't just come from Voyager. It came from something it passed through, or came into contact with. NASA scientists remain officially silent on this speculation. But in internal documents leaked by former contractors, one phrase kept repeating itself over and over. Unknown interaction detected. We always imagine space as emptiness. Cold, empty, silent. But the Voyager missions revealed something else. That space, even in its most remote corners, is not dead. It is active. It reacts. Radiation, magnetic fields, high-energy particles, structures that behave like currents and walls, as if interstellar space had shape and motion we can't yet map. Voyager 2's return message, its impossible signal, is not an end, it's a start. It confirms what many fear, but few have dared to say out loud. That something out there is watching, not necessarily in the way we imagine aliens or intelligence, but in a more subtle, more disturbing way. That the universe is not passive, that it reacts. And maybe, just maybe, he's been waiting. Voyager 2's journey is far from over, but his voice may soon be gone forever. Before that happens, scientists are racing to extract every last byte of information from its final transmission, because buried in that data may be proof that the boundary we thought separated us from the unknown was never real at all. As NASA, analysts continued to decode the data packets sent by Voyager 2, they found a portion of telemetry that raised red flags, not just because of its content, but because of its timing. The packet had been transmitted just before the probe's brief silence, and it contained anomalies that challenged current models of interstellar plasma behavior and magnetic field distribution. The patterns were too organized, too periodic, and too strong. One report mentioned localized pressure differentials inconsistent with the heliocape's standard turbulence, a dry technical phrase that, in plain English, suggests that something was putting pressure, intentionally or otherwise, on Voyager 2's surroundings. Some have proposed that it could be a gravitational wake left by a nearby but undetected object. Others have suggested that the probe may have passed through an artificially stabilized zone, a sort of cocoon or corridor of unknown origin. These conclusions have not been made public, but within certain aerospace laboratories and secret research facilities, simulations began to run. And the data was clear. Voyager had experienced something that altered not only its surroundings, but possibly its own behavior. For decades, one of the unspoken fears of deep space exploration wasn't about bringing something back. It was about sending something too far. Space agencies have long been obsessed with avoiding biological contamination from other worlds, sterilizing probes before launch and keeping clean rooms sealed like surgical environments. But Voyager 2 has raised a new concern. If the probe passed through an unknown energy field or an interstellar system with active properties, could it have been altered? Not physically, but informationally. Could it have absorbed patterns, instructions, or even codes into its systems without us knowing? When their backup software was reactivated and broadcasting recursive logic loops, some engineers didn't see it as a cry for help. They saw it as behavior, intention. The idea that a machine can be influenced, not infected, but transformed by its interaction with the cosmos, is no longer a fringe theory. It raises disturbing questions. If the universe can leave its mark on our technology, what else might it be listening to or altering? Inside the Mission Control Center, a new protocol was initiated without any public announcement. The Voyager 2 signal is now being monitored by a select team, separate from general NASA operations. Why? Because the data stream is no longer considered purely scientific. It has become unpredictable. Engineers report that the signal's intensity is fluctuating erratically, not in decays, but in bursts, as if responding to solar activity that isn't occurring. The pulse intervals have begun to repeat, echoing Voyager 1 telemetry from years past, but in reverse order. Some believe the probes may be relaying data through a medium we don't yet understand, bouncing information down space corridors with time delays. Others warn that this could represent a kind of cosmic resonance, triggered not by mechanical failure, but by the proximity of a force field, a gravitational anomaly, or an unknown intelligence. The team tasked with monitoring these signals was instructed not to speak publicly, and internal communications were rerouted through encrypted systems. A memo leaked online said simply, "Stand your ground, do not respond unless instructed." As if anyone or anything could answer. As Voyager 2 drifts deeper into interstellar space, the data it sends back is no longer just information. It becomes a mirror, not of the cosmos, but of ourselves. For the first time in human history, a machine built by our species has entered a realm we cannot visit. we cannot see, and now, perhaps, we cannot understand. The fear is not that Voyager has found something alien, but that it has found something ancient, something not made of matter or metal, but of space itself, a structure of the universe that responds to motion, to mass, perhaps even to memory. If this is true, Voyager didn't just explore the cosmos. It became part of it, a relay, a key, or a trigger to something older than the stars. The final message she sent was not a conclusion. It was a threshold, and once crossed, there may be no return. We built it to leave Earth, and it has. But now, perhaps it has found something it never wanted to find. Something that talks without speaking, and waits without moving. Voyager 2 was never meant to come back. It was never meant to be heard again. It was a whisper thrown into the unknown, a one-way signal thrown into eternity. But somehow she spoke. Not with words, not even with codes, like the ones we understand, but with something more terrifying, more beautiful, and more impossible, a response that seems conscious. What the probe found is not yet defined. A force, a structure, a reaction, perhaps even a form of communication that does not use language, but rhythm, radiation, gravity itself. What we once saw as emptiness may now be something else entirely. A field of consciousness woven into the fabric of space. Voyager 2 may not have just crossed a boundary. It may have triggered something, awakened something, or revealed a cosmic truth we never should have realized. We thought we were alone because no one had responded. Now we have to ask, what if someone did respond? And Voyager 2 was the only one that could understand. Do you think Voyager 2 made contact with something beyond? Was its final message a system glitch, or a sign of a deeper truth? Share your theory in the comments. If you stuck around and enjoyed our video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.